Hey guys, it's the Drabble Geek here, and welcome back to another unboxing where I have another little stack of Pokemon cards that I can't wait to open. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, let's open. This tape is difficult. Alright, here we go. We have a little short stack today, but we have two larger stacks that I actually can't wait to get to, but that is a week after. And then the other week after, and then I'll figure out what else I'm doing for you guys afterwards. Alright, so let's begin with our first card. So first card, we have a Sedatan? Sedatan. I don't think I've ever seen this one before. This Pokemon wanders around snowy, icy areas. It protects its body with powerful muscles and a thick layer of fat under its skin. So maybe some type of... Well, it says it's a Terra whale. It's gonna say some type of whale type, but I don't know how it's doing that, to be honest. The science is not sciencing. At least, not to me mentally. Alright, next card. We have a... Ooh. Corviknight. This is also a new one to me. Looks kind of like a crow or raven. It says it's a raven Pokemon, so half right. Corviknight can't serve as a taxi service in Palada because the Pokemon's natural predators will attack it while it flies, endangering the customer. So is it usually a taxi service? Just not in that one area? Oh, that's interesting. Alright, next card. We have, ooh, an emergency jelly. So maybe food? I think jelly is usually a food. At the end of each turn, if the Pokemon this card is attached to has 30 HP or less remaining, it has any damage counters on it, heal 120 damage from it. If you healed any damage in this way, discard this card. Alright, so damage and lasting effect. Alright, that's interesting. Also looks like one of those baby juice pouches or applesauce things so they don't spill on themselves. Alright, have I used the wrong... Yeah, oops, I'm on the wrong camera. Let's flip. Forgot to flip. So Corviknight, and the jelly. Oops. Wish I really realized I was backwards before. Alright, next card. Oh, Araquanid? Araquanid, I think. It launches water bubbles with its legs, drowning prey within the bubbles. This Pokemon can then take its time to savor its meal. That's horrific. Alright, next card. We have a Stonejourner. I actually think we've had this one before, just a different art style. It was more of a 3D art style rather than this 2D. It stands in grasslands, watching the sun's descent from zenith to horizon. This Pokemon has a talent for delivering dynamic kicks. It has legs? I see kind of arms. I don't really see legs. Alright, next we have a Bronzor. And that art style I really like from these cards. It appears in ancient ruins. The pattern on its body doesn't come from any culture in the Galar region, so it remains shrouded in mystery. Have Mew tell you. That's an ancient Pokemon, right? He probably knows. Alright, next card, we have another Araquanid. Next card, oh, another Stonejourner. We have a couple repeats. Next card, we have a gold bat. It looks kind of like it's sleeping, but it also looks like it's nighttime, and as a bat, it shouldn't be sleeping necessarily. It loves to drink other creatures' blood. It's said that if it finds others of its kind going hungry, it sometimes shares the blood it's gathered. Well, that's sweet. I actually would not have thought that based on how this creature looks. It looks really scary. But that's actually really sweet. Alright, next card. We have a mousehold. It says it's a family Pokemon. I was like, is it supposed to be like a household? A mousehold? It's really cute. They build huge nests with many rooms that are used for different purposes, such as eating and sleeping. So like a regular household for humans. Alright, next we have a Skyther. As Skyther fights more and more battles, its skies become sharper and sharper. With a single slice, Skyther can fell a massive tree. Alright, next card. Ooh, a Hessian Growlithe? I think this is the kind I know that looks like Zeus from Disney's Hercules lots of videos back. They patrol their territory in pairs. I believe the igneous rock components in the fur of the species are the result of volcanic activity in its habitat. I'm guessing the I in that sentence is Professor Oak. Alright, next card. We have a Oddish, or Sweet Little Radish. If exposed to moonlight, it starts to move. It roams far and wide at night to scatter its seeds. Alright, next card, we have a Poliwag. Our little frog type-ish. This is a tadpole. Tadpole, frog, same difference. For Poliwag, swimming is easier than walking. The swirl pattern on its belly is actually part of the Pokemon's innards showing through the skin. Oh, so it's like its intestines. I don't know whether to be weird or what about that. Alright, next we have a Phalanx. I think we've had this one before. It seems familiar. I love the glowing eyes. 5 of them are troopers, and 1 is the brass. The brass's orders are absolute. I'm guessing the brass is the one with the slightly different eyes on top. Right, next card, we have a Clefairy in a tree, just hanging out. Its adorable behavior and cry makes it highly popular. However, this cute Pokemon is rarely found. You have to be good. Alright, next card, we have a potion, which looks like it's in a spray bottle. Every time I see this card, I think it's a spray bottle. Heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. Alright. Next card, we have an Aron, which is like what I call a Dalmatian type. I know it's metal, but it looks more like a Dalmatian. It eats iron ore, and sometimes railroad tracks, to build up the steel armor that protects its body. And I'm guessing once it gets high enough, it evolves. I don't think I've seen the direct evolution of Aron yet. Alright, next we have a Corphish. A little crab. Kind of. Fish crab. It says a ruffian, but I think that just means a fighting type. No matter how dirty the water in the river, it will adapt and thrive. It has a strong will to survive. Isn't that kind of like catfish? They'll survive in any type of water. I think so. Alright, next we have Energy Search. I don't think I've seen this one either. Search your deck for a basic energy card. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Alright, next card, we have a Skrelp. I think that's what that is, a Skrelp. Looks kind of demonic in a way. It drifts in the ocean, blending in with floating seaweed. When other Pokemon come to feast on the seaweed, Skrelp feeds on them instead. Lovely. Alright, next card, we have a Grubbin. So cute. It uses its big jaws to dig nests into the forest floor, and it loves to feed on sweet tree sap. Probably because it is delicious. Because, like, maple syrup is tree sap. Maple syrup is good. Alright, we have a Purloin that is interrupting someone's work. It steals things from people just to amuse itself with their frustration. A rivalry exists between this Pokemon and Nickit. Remember we got that one last time. But still. Alright. Next card we have a Saladent. Yeah. Saladent. Its venom sacs produce a fluid that this Pokemon then heats up with the flame. This process creates Saladent's poisonous gas. That's horrific. And can be used as a chemical weapon, I suppose. Alright, next card, we have a Machop. Again, I never know if the sides are like the lines in its side are its muscles or gills. And I suppose I will never know. Always brimming with power, it passes time lifting boulders. Doing so makes it even stronger. Alright, next card. We have a Manch. Looks like a panda, but it's standing, unlike a real panda. It chooses a Pangoro as its master, and then imitates its master's actions. This is how it learns to battle and hunt for prey. So I'm guessing the Mangoro is its evolution, and that one probably looks even more like a panda. Alright, next card, I have a Shinx. It's been a while since we've gotten this one again. This Pokemon generates electricity by contracting its muscles. Excited trembling is a sign that Shinx is generating a tremendous amount of electricity. Alright, next card. We have a Lulu that is sitting on its head or lying on its back, and it looks like it's on its head. Maybe. Its curly fleece is such an effective cushion that this Pokemon could fall off a cliff and stand right back up at the bottom, unharmed. Well, obviously it is under feather falling. Alright, next we have a Helioptile. I think that's what that is, a Helioptile. When spread, the frills on its head act like solar panels, generating the power behind this Pokemon's electric moves. The frills? Do you mean its ears? It looks more like ears than frills. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Looks like ears. Alright, next we have a Spearow. I don't think I have this one yet. Due to its short wings, it can't fly long distances. It wanders about restlessly and pecks at bug Pokemon. I think there is an evolution, so I think so. If there is, I wouldn't expect a baby to go that far anyways. So it can't go too far away until it evolves. Although it does have the ability of this Pokemon can evolve during your first turn, so there is an evolution, so that's not strange for a baby bird, I don't think. Alright, next we have another Aron. Next we have trekking shoes. I believe we've had these before. Look Look at the top card of your deck. You may put that card into your hand. If you don't, discard that card and draw a card. So you either take the next card or the card after. Alright, next we have a Luxio trying to sleep. Strong electricity courses through the tips of its strong claws. A light scratch causes fainting and foes. Alright, next card we have Rare Candy. Choose one of your basic Pokemon and play. If you have a Stage 2 card in your hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put that card onto the basic Pokemon to evolve it, skipping the Stage 1. You can't use this card during your first turn or on a basic Pokemon that was put into play this turn. Okay, so you can skip an evolution. That's always nice. Get it even stronger. But I guess there's no point in having that card in your hand unless you do use Pokemon that do get to level 3. So, I guess it depends on your deck. Right, next card, we have a Snorunt. It still looks like it's like wrapped in a blanket, but hiking up a long trail. It can only survive in cold areas. It bounces happily around, even in environments as cold as negative 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Would not be me. Ugh, I hate the cold. Alright, next card. We have an Escavalier. Escavalier, I think. Looks like a knight. It's really cool though. They use shells they've stolen from Shelmet to arm and protect themselves. They're very popular Pokemon in the Galar region. Yep, I can see the shell. Love how it's stealing it. Maybe it's just an old one that they feel they steal. That could also happen. Alright, next we have a Beartic, which looks like a polar bear. A very minimalist, sharp edges style polar bear. It swims through frigid seas, searching for prey. From its frozen breath, it forms icy fangs that are harder than steel. Nice. Right, next card, we have Altarvia. Altarvia. It's really pretty. Gorgeous. As it flies in a calm and relaxed manner, Altarvia performs a humming song that would enrapture any audience. Nice. Alright, next we have a Hoppip. Hoppip. It's adorable. This Pokemon is blown across vast distances by the wind. It is unclear where the Hoppip of Palladium originally came from. So it's probably like a seed, if I remember what the evolution looks like properly. I think so. Alright, next card, we have a Dusclops. We get this card a lot, I think. Its body is entirely hollow. When it opens its mouth, it sucks everything in as if it were a black hole. Alright, next card. Ooh, we have another Snorunt, but a different art. This looks like the same description, so we'll move on. Alright, next card. We have a Clink. Well, it's more like Clinks, as there's 2 of them technically. The 2 mini-gears that compose this Pokemon are closer than twins. They mesh well only with each other. They're soulmates. Probably not. Alright, next card, we have a Dedenne. Dedenne. the more mouse-like Pikachu, I usually call it. Since Dedenne can't generate much electricity on its own, it steals electricity from outlets or other electric Pokemon. Because it's just a baby. Alright, next card. We have a Kubchu. I think this might be the de-evolution of the Beartic, maybe. It's really adorable, though. When this Pokemon is in good health, its snot becomes thicker and stickier. It will smear snot on anyone it doesn't like. Yeah, that could be like the Ice Fangs that were in the evolution, if I'm remembering it correctly. Alright, next card. We have a Duskull, the de-evolution of the Dusclops. If it finds bad children who won't listen to their parents, it will spirit them away, or so it's said. Okay, Krampus. Alright, next. Ooh. I think this is the first fairy energy we've ever gotten. This is also a different style we've gotten than before. Yeah, I think this is the first fairy energy. Alright, next. We have Psychic. Next. Fighting. Next. Dark. I had a hard time saying that. And lastly, Psychic in that really interesting style. So we had a lot of interesting cards today. A couple of others I haven't seen before. A couple of new art styles. I think of a couple we have seen before. And then, of course, some new item cards. I think a couple of them are repeats, but I definitely have not seen this jelly one before. And looking through the actual Pokemon we got, definitely see some new Pokemon, and for a couple of others, some art I haven't seen or don't remember seeing before. So we got a lot of new options to go through. And I'm going to have so much fun organizing my binders because that's part of the fun for me for whatever reason. Love organizing my binders. But I will see you next time where we will go through this gigantic stack of cards I have. I think it's actually one complete stack in here. So next time will be a longer video. My voice will probably give out unless I take a break, but I can't wait for the fun. But I will see you guys later. Bye.